Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Tasha. This is going to be a story time of something that happened in my life, and if you guys like knowing what's going on in my life, I'm always posting on my Instagram stories, and a lot of the times I post little mini story times that I don't post over here. So if you guys want to go follow me on Instagram, it is just at Tasha. Okay, so I always talk about how the weirdest, craziest things happen to me, but then when I try to give people examples, I've always forgotten about what has happened. I think because I try to push them to the back of my brain and suppress the weird memories. But something happened to me last night that was just so strange that I figured I had to make a video about it because it's just so weird and it's still kind of unsolved. So I wanted to hear your guys' opinions on it, and I always love watching these types of videos, so I figured I would post this for the world to see. I'm gonna call this video like my catfish story, but I honestly don't think or know if I was catfished. It's really up in the air, but I don't know what else I would call this experience. So I'm currently single and I live in Los Angeles. I feel like LA and most big cities are just hard to date in. Like, you would think it would be easy because there's so many people, but that also makes it harder because there's just so many options for everyone. I don't know. And also LA is just kind of a weird city for guys. Like, I love LA, but I don't know if the type of guy that I'd be into is in LA. But anyways, that's besides the point. So I do use dating apps. They're pretty popular here in LA and most big cities, I would think. And the app I use the most is called Hinge. This is not sponsored by Hinge, but Hinge, if you want to sponsor me, I use your app. I like Hinge because I feel like the people on it are pretty normal, and you also have to answer, I think it's 3 prompts about yourself, so you can get a good idea of someone's personality. So I matched with this guy on Hinge, and right away I was a little bit, not weirded out, but his profile was just a little bit off to me. The first thing is his photos were all, like, they looked like they could be the same guy, but they definitely looked like different people at the same time, if that makes sense. They were all a guy with dark hair, but there were some that looked really modelly. Then there was a selfie that was definitely airbrushed in some sort of way, but then there were some photos that looked completely normal, like something an ex-frat boy would post for his LinkedIn photo. Like, there was a real mixture, and I don't know, I'm trying to not be so judgmental with people's profiles. Like, normally if I see a selfie, I'm like, ugh. But, you know, I thought this guy looked attractive, and I figured, okay, maybe he's cool. We'll see if he messages me. Another kind of weird thing about his profile, so I don't have my last name on my Hinge, it's just my first name, and you can remove your last name. I just do that because I don't really want people to find my YouTube right when they see me, because I just kind of feel weird if people have watched my videos and stuff before I go into a date. I don't know, it just feels a little bit weird, and it doesn't feel like a first meeting for both parties. I don't know, maybe that's weird. That's why I don't have my last name. But this guy, I'm just gonna use his real name. I don't even know if it's his real name at this point. You will understand that later on. But all he had on this profile was John. So he didn't remove his last name, but he removed it except for the last initial. And normally when I match with someone, I'm kind of a psycho, okay? Like, I do my in-depth research because I'm not gonna meet up with someone normally if I cannot, you know, make sure they're normal first. So I was having a really hard time finding this guy's Instagram or other social media because all the other things he had about himself were pretty generic. He had like NYC as his hometown, and for his job it just said real estate investor. So that seems, you know, somewhat legit, but he didn't have like a company. He didn't have a college or anything like that. So just going off of his photos, the name John, and then those 2 really vague things, it was pretty much impossible to find him. And I usually don't ask guys for their Instagrams right on Hinge just because, I don't know, for some reason I feel kind of weird doing that. Do you guys do that? It totally depends on the situation, and now I know I definitely should have asked for it, but I didn't ask for it. Something else that was kind of weird about our conversation, I'm from upstate New York, so he had asked me if I'm from California, and I said, no, I'm actually from upstate New York. So remember, his info said NYC for like hometown or whatever. And he was like, oh no way, I'm from upstate New York. Where are you from? So I told him the city that I'm from. And he responded, oh, no way, I'm from Albany, which is kind of crazy because Albany was only like a 2-hour drive from where I grew up. And I really don't meet a lot of people in LA that are anywhere near where I'm from, except maybe like Long Island and lower New York, but it's kind of rare to meet someone from upstate New York in LA, I've found. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I actually have a friend that grew up in the Albany area, and I happened to remember the name of her high school. It was super random that I remembered it, but I said, oh, that's so cool. I actually have a friend that went to this high school. Not sure if you've heard of it. And then this man responds, wait, I went to that high school. At this point, I was like, wow, this is either a huge coincidence or this man is going to murder me. Like, there was no in between. This guy's profile said he was 25, so my friend would not have known him because he would have been graduated before she got to high school. So we were messaging and he seemed pretty cool. Like, I'm very into witty, sarcastic personalities, like good banter, and it seemed to be going pretty well. But 2 days ago on Wednesday, he messaged me and he was like, hey, would you want to grab a drink tomorrow night? So I was like, okay, why not? And this is another thing. I made one of my New Year's resolutions to go on a date a month because I just feel like going on dates is good for social skills, and also you never know who you're gonna meet. So I've been trying to go on a date a month and I totally forgot. The first month of the year, I already forgot, and I was like, oh, I should probably go on a date. So this guy asked me for drinks. I like when guys initiate. So I was like, okay, yeah, like what time are you thinking? And he asked me if I was free at 7 for a drink on Thursday night. So I was like, okay, sounds good. Where do you want to meet? He didn't respond until like 1:30 p.m. on Thursday. But he was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I've actually been traveling all day from work. I just flew back into LA from Nashville. And then he said, okay, I'll text you in a few. So I was like, okay, cool. He'll text me in a little bit and then he'll tell me where he wants to get drinks. Then the hours pass and he just didn't text me, and that was a little bit weird because he said he was in LA, so it's not like he was flying or on the plane or something, and he just wasn't texting me. Anyways, before I go on Hinge dates, I normally drink a glass or two of wine just because I get so nervous, and it's just a good way to calm my nerves before I go on a date. So I had actually invited Shelby and Tara over to drink some wine with me before my date. Shelby was going to a dinner at the same time that my date was supposed to be, so she was just gonna come for a bit, and then Tara was going to come until I left. So before I know it, it's 6 p.m. and this man still has not texted me a location to get drinks. And I was like, okay, this is weird. And at this point, I'm kind of annoyed because one of my biggest pet peeves is flaky people or people that can't follow through with plans. So I was already getting kind of annoyed, but I was like, okay, I'm just gonna message him on Hinge again and say, hey, are you still trying to get drinks tonight? So I did that. I messaged him on Hinge and then I put my phone down. Another 20 minutes or so passes and I go to open Hinge to see if he had messaged me back on there, and his profile is gone. Nowhere to be seen. He unmatched me. So at this point, my first reaction is, okay, this guy has to be a catfish, right? And maybe that's my ego talking, but why would you, as a guy, ask a girl to get drinks? Like, he initiated. I did not bring up hanging out. He's the one that asked me to get drinks, told me a time, and then when I tried to follow up with him, he just unmatched me. Like, I couldn't see his profile anymore. He just disappeared. So at this point, I felt pretty shitty, to be honest, but it was also almost laughable because this shit just happens to me. And it's also not like I've met him before, so I wasn't super invested in it, but it was still just weird and upsetting, and I had drank some wine before this, so now I was all ready, hair done, makeup done, in my outfit, 2 glasses of wine deep, and this man had just unmatched me and vanished without a trace. So this is where the story gets interesting. At this point, Shelby had left to go to her dinner, so it was just Tara and I still drinking wine because at this point I'm like, well, bottoms up. So Tara has a boyfriend. Obviously she's not on dating apps, but she was like, okay, wait a minute. What if I download Hinge and change my location to where this guy said his location was and just see if I can find him? So I was like, I mean, okay, I didn't think she would ever find him because LA is so big and there are so many people on this app. But I kid you not, Tara swiped through maybe 5 people and this man's profile appeared. So here is what's very fishy to me. This guy's profile came up, except all of his photos were now in a different order, and he had changed the responses to all of his prompts. And then I mentioned earlier that his profile said he was 25, but this time on this profile it said 26. It also had a different location in LA, like still kind of close to where he was originally, but a different name. It's also interesting to note that he had asked me what part of LA I live in, and when I told him, he said same, even though his location wasn't the same as mine. It was kind of close, but not the same, so he also just kind of agreed with me. But now the profile that Tara saw minutes after I was unmatched had a completely different age, location, and prompt responses. Tara likes him, and then minutes later they have matched. We are freaking out because what are the odds of this? And she's like, okay, we just gotta find out what his Instagram is. I'm gonna ask him for his Instagram. And we thought that for sure he was a catfish, so he was gonna unmatch her as soon as she asked. But she asked him for his Instagram and he gave it to her. But the weirdest thing is that his Instagram didn't have his name on it, and his profile picture was just like a cartoon facial silhouette. But it was weird and it was private. So at this point we're still like, okay, he's definitely a catfish. Like, this is a weird fake profile. Tara didn't want to follow the account, which is completely understandable. So she messaged him on Hinge again and was like, go on private so I can stalk you and make sure you're not a catfish, LOL. Once again, we thought once she sent this, he would unmatch her or disappear or something, but he went on private. And this is where my ego was truly crushed, because there were some of the same photos from his Hinge on this profile. Like, it was a lot of just random scenery pictures, but then there were also a few of the same photos that were on his Hinge. So I was like, wow, this is embarrassing. This is a guy. He wasn't a catfish and he just didn't want to hang out with me. But it gets weirder. I told you his name wasn't on his profile, but from looking at his profile, he clearly had a girlfriend, like a long-term girlfriend, like 5+ years, that ended somewhat recently. So naturally we go to the girlfriend's profile, and in her pictures with him, she's calling him Joe. So on his Hinge, his name was John, but his ex-girlfriend is referring to him as Joe. And then also the link in this man's Instagram bio was for some like Airbnb thing that he owns. Of course we click on it and his profile picture is one of the pictures from Hinge, so once again, probably not a catfish and I'm just rejected, but his name on Airbnb was Joe. So at this point it's super weird, and Tara's like, okay, I mean, what do we have to lose? Let's just call him out for unmatching you. Let me see if I have the exact screenshots of what Tara sent to him. Okay, so Tara said, why'd you unmatch my friend Tasha? Thought you made plans with her for tonight. And this man says, legit by accident. I unmatched what I thought was someone else, and it like unmatched her. Okay, so if you go on Hinge, it takes like a few clicks to unmatch someone, and even if he did do it on accident, why did he not text me in that 6-hour block after he said that he would text me? So then this guy is saying that he felt bad, whatever, and Tara's like, she gave you your number and was looking forward to meeting you tonight. And he goes, I know, I didn't save it. So Tara sends this man my number, and at this point Tara is going home because she has plans to get food with her boyfriend. So I am just here waiting to see if this man texts me. And at this point there's just no way I'm ever going to meet up with this guy, because all of it was too weird, and even if he did accidentally unmatch me, it was just too much for me. Okay, I keep forgetting things. Sorry, I feel like this is all over the place. I should have written a list or something. But also on his Instagram profile, every photo was geotagged Nashville. Like, there weren't any LA photos. His ex-girlfriend lived in Nashville. All of his tagged photos were in Nashville. All of his photos were in Nashville. Like, this guy clearly lives in Nashville, and also his Airbnb listing was in Nashville. So at this point, I'm like, does this guy even live in LA? Did he even live in Albany? Was that a lie? He ended up telling me he went to NYU, That's another thing that changed on his profile when Tara saw it. NYU wasn't there before, but it was there after. On his Instagram, there were no photos of NYU or graduating from NYU, which I guess not everyone's gonna post a graduation photo, but I feel like that's a pretty important part of your life that most people would share on Instagram. I did not think this guy was going to text me, but he did. Let me just read the exact conversation. Now, I did not plan on ever meeting up with this guy again, like I said, but I was also just having so much fun with this, and I was like, I need to call this guy out on all of the weird things that happened to see if he will confess. So it started off with, hey, it's John. Really sorry about tonight. I'm sure your friend Tara already told you what happened. Don't want you to think I stood you up for no reason. And I said, I really don't think I believe you, but whatever, lol. He goes, yeah, I get it. It sounds totally made up. So can I make it up to you and take you out another time? I said, do you even live here though? He goes, I just moved here a couple weeks ago. You have Insta or Snap? Or are you guys just gonna stalk me from afar? Okay, that was funny, I'm not gonna lie. I said, TBH, I'm a grade A stalker, because I am. I'm very good at stalking people on social media. And I feel like you lied about a lot. Name, age, location. You could find me in 1 second if you searched my name, lol, but you didn't even try. Fishy. And the reason I said that is because my Instagram handle is literally just my name. And yes, all I had on my Hinge was just my first name, but if you just search my first name on Instagram, my profile is that one, you know? So it's like if he really unmatched me and felt super bad, at least if I had done that to someone, I would have tried to find them on Instagram immediately to DM them and tell them what happened. So he goes, searched your name? All I had was a first name. And then he says, my profile uses my middle name, which I personally use, and my age and location, nothing has changed. So I knew his age changed. So I said, is your birthday today? He goes, no, why? I said, because your age was different. My friend saw your profile. I don't even care if you're lying at this point. I just want to know why. I just wanted him to confess because I just feel like there's no way this is legit. Maybe you guys disagree with me. Anyways, he says, LOL, no it wasn't. And what he doesn't know is I literally have screen recordings because I'm crazy, so I know it was different. And I said, okay, well it said 25 and then it said 26 and all your prompts have changed. He says, yeah, I changed the prompts like 3 days ago. And then he continues on saying, why would I make any of this up? Obviously something's wrong with the app, which, okay, I haven't really changed my prompts or anything in a while, but I went on Hinge to try and see if I could change my age. And you basically have to make a whole new account to change your age. So what I think happened is when I tried to follow up with him, he just deleted his account and made a whole new account with new prompts, changed his pictures around, and changed his age. Like, I don't know. And then he goes, yeah, I don't know, my birthday is January 8th, not sure if there's a slow update. So you want to grab a drink ever, or is this all too strange? I just don't know if Hinge updates that slowly. Like, I feel like it's a pretty instantaneous thing, but I could be wrong. So my final text to him was, like, why didn't you try and text me where you wanted to meet? I was just sitting around waiting, lol, not dying to do that again. He says, since I'm so new to the city, I didn't pick a place to meet, and then I didn't save your number before I accidentally unmatched. Sorry I kept you waiting like that, I really feel bad. So at this point, I was going to bed because I had work really early today, and I didn't answer, and now I'm just kind of like, I don't think I want to answer. It all seems really weird to me. The one thing I will say is I looked up the area code of his phone number and it is from Albany, so I don't think he lied about that. That is really crazy. If he did go to my friend's high school, that's a big coincidence. Oh, but also his profile said 6'5", and unless his ex-girlfriend was 6 feet tall, I don't think he's 6'5". But yeah, that's my story. I know I'm crazy and I stalk people before I meet them, or at least I try to, but honestly, I listen to way too many true crime podcasts and watch too many documentaries, and I just don't want to meet up with someone and have them be a crazy murderer, serial killer.
Hi, so I'm editing this video right now, and I just want to say, if you guys live in LA and you think you find this person, please don't message them and tell them about this video, because I just don't know who this person is and I don't want to be murdered and I don't want them to know more about me than they need to. Okay, thanks.
That is my story. If you guys have any weird stories like this, please leave them in the comments because these are my favorite stories to hear. Also, let me know what you think happened. Do you side with me or do you believe him? Let me know if you think I should ever text this guy back again. And if you like this video and want more story times, definitely let me know and subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, well, my life is a mess. I hope you guys enjoyed and stay tuned for my next video. Bye!